Okay, we're live.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to be back. We've got a photo of the. You have a photo of the SPOOs on the left and the Nasdaq futures on the right to kind of give some sense of where we've been trading. Let's see on the right. I'm going to throw that in an hour time frame. As you guys know, I was pretty much out of it last week, so I'm getting a quick update and snapshot. Immediately, I'm seeing the SPOOs are kind of retested that high a day from Friday at 2, and it looks like it's accepting this level. That's what it looks to me. And there's no real rejection for the NASDAQ either. I mean, that sold off just a little bit, but I'm seeing acceptance right now. So, if you've already gotten your short, make sure you've got a couple scales going into pre-market or into RTH. That's what I would say. Just want to just look at this in general. So because I've been gone, I kind of just want to simulate the view if you've been away for a full week or you lacked connectivity. Like I was trying to, keep in touch with things, as you guys know, but I didn't have full systems, full eyes up. So with the SPOOs, I'm going to go on and do that. I just need to see where roughly where we've traded and what transpired since I left. So I was here for the Friday. So we had this. Okay, so we had this high area here. So just kind of give me some sort of differentiating level here. And I see that we traded down and to an area of interest down in here, this 55.12. And then we traded up, and I see that we got established some sort of support at the 55.61 area. Okay, and then from there we moved up and we picked up that high on Friday, the 56.25, and that's where we're at currently. So quickly, with being away from the market, I've established some defined ranges of where we've been and where we're currently sitting. So I'm not intimidated to trade, to participate in the market based on that quick assessment. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go over here and I just want to give a glance at because the MDX is not open. I just want a broader view of the futures and to see how that's been trading. And I can see, and I know that some of the techs, they had a nice little run again, and NVIDIA picked up a little steam, and AMD picked up a little bit. So there was some momentum with some techs that pushed us to the all-time highs. So I can see that. So that's pretty straightforward. There's a possibility of us having, we're definitely going to have a gap up. I mean, well, I can't say definitely because the SPOOs are only up 6 and the futures NASDAQ are only up 11. So a lot can happen here in the next 25 minutes. But if we were to open, so I'm now going to go to the SPX chart and I'm going to go broad. This is an hour chart. I'm going to remove everything. Just want to establish some levels. Wow, I mean, I can even see how that just marched its way up from that 54, 59, 60 area all the way up. Wow. I mean, that was like that was from Tuesday all the way through Friday. I mean, that was a 100-point solid move if you look at an hourly chart, not one breakdown on an hourly chart. So it's pretty impressive, and it's amazing how you can see that when you step away and look at a larger time frame. So, so I now see where we're at. Let's see roughly the spread. It looks like let's see, it spreads up 6.5, so it looks like it's trending right around 50. The spread's likely right around 54. So we'll have to. I'll go back and kind of refine some SPOO levels off of that. But the spread is trending about 54 at the open. So based on this right now, we closed at um, we closed at 55.67. The SPOOs are up almost 6, so that would put it at about 74. So you're looking at a possible gap up right in that area there, right in this area here. So we know we don't fade gap ups or downs. So we're going to look for maybe is there going to be any potential follow through higher, but there is a small but reflects there's like a small 6 7 point gap below that if we do see some profit takings in any sectors, there's a decent chance we can come back and close that and have a gap fill there, and it could continue higher. Or based on this, it looks like if SPX wanted to get below this 5560 area, I mean, it could retrace down to 5537.40. That's possible. So I don't have any preconceived notions about what we're going to do. I'm just looking at it as we're open right now. It is a small gap up. Don't fade it. Uh, Look for a possible continuation or a possible comeback at a gap fill, and maybe look for a long at the gap fill. But we'll see how that correlates to the MDX level. So there's a quick assessment from a guy that's been out of the market for a week, pretty much. I've got a position in AMD. I've got Palantir. See, I still have my Amazon positions, and I'm looking at Crowd as well. So I was looking at that. And I noticed that there's a little bit of interest on Twitter on Crowd also by a lot of people. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I still like Palo Alto better than Crowd just because we still haven't filled that gap 20 points higher.
Okay.
That's my preference. I mean, I haven't looked at Crowd's chart. Let me pull my screen up here. So I'm going to sort of echo a little bit of what you said, except for a little bit differently. So we talked last week, last Monday, Tuesday, even the Sunday before last week, before the 4th, about how these low volume weeks, and actually let's do this. So last week started where? Monday here. I mean, the volume just was incredibly low. If you zoom out compared to up in here when the market's open, you can see the big volume candles. So we just churned upwards. So in order to break down lower, you need volume. In order to drift higher, you don't. And that's sort of what we got. And now we just broke through a new all-time high. Literally just now, that 26 area was a new all-time high. And we have all of this area, and you guys know I like the little rectangles. Got all this area here. We got going all the way back to Monday. Got all this area here. There's a little bit of volume in here because we churned in here on Thursday. But all of this area is incredibly low volume. So one of the things I'm going to be watching for is, do we break down below this 5610 on ES? If we do, my inclination is that we're probably going to retrace the entirety of the low volume move at some point in the very near future. And it's not that I'm bearish, it's more of a technical reaction to coming off of an extremely low volume week and then having an influx of volume. And I don't know if today's going to be the day where we get the influx of volume. Maybe Gov can sort of opine more on, when people come back to the office. But it's when we do start getting that volume after a move that came from all the way down, here? Yeah, Monday, Monday. So we came 128 points-ish, essentially from ES 5500 all the way up to where we are now, which is 28. So that's a big move. So I would think that there needs to be some sort of mechanical reaction of that retracement of that big move. So how am I going to prepare is we're in some positions. I need to reduce those. So the first one I need to think about here is Snowflake. That's one that Gov got us in down in this area. Where is it here? Actually, I don't have it up. AMD, and I won't go into the chart, but these are just sort of positions that we have that we need to reduce to protect for a retracement to the downside if it were to happen. It's if it doesn't happen, so what? We took some money off the table, we paid ourselves. But if it does happen, we don't want to get caught with our pants down. So make sure you do that. Something I did buy on Friday was Nvidia. I bought the 130 calls for this week. I still have those. Looks like it's pretty good today, and that could be one that, if the market does get weak, Nvidia could actually see some rotation back into it if the other names that were stronger last week get some rotation out of it. So that was sort of my thinking on Friday was, if we get a backwardization of the rotation that we've been seeing, which is Nvidia has been the source of funds, all the other stuff has been going up, and then we get Nvidia, the other stuff start going down, and Nvidia starts going back up. I could see that as a possibility too. So I liked sort of how it was holding that low 120s area, and it seemed like it was just churning. Siri, I'm only at like 25% equity position, but this one paid really, really great. We got in it down in this area, like the 270, 260, 280, whatever you paid for it. But I was out of options, I think Thursday, and now I'm just at 25% on equity, and we'll see from there. But the other one I bought on Friday was this Virgin Galactic. I saw some stuff on Twitter on it. So let's go to daily. This name is beat to crap. And so it sort of, actually, let's go back to 4 hour. So you can see sort of these big volume candles sort of came in here. It just churned around this 750 area, and it held it multiple times. Now it sort of started to make a little bit of a churn back up. Now we're at 830. I think I took, I don't know, 9 or 10 calls on it, 9 or 10 strike on July OPEX. So next week I took, I believe the 9s, and I believe I took August 10s, and I need to check my position. But I think this one it's a small float, and it also has a big, large short position in it. This name, going back to May, literally a month and a half ago, 6 weeks ago, was a $30 name. I don't know if there's been news. I don't follow the stock very much, but all I know is this thing's been shorted and sold to oblivion. And when you have a name that's sort of fallen down here, you see this thing never caught a base. It trended down. Now you're seeing it catch a base here. So let's see if this can get some momentum. Obviously, our stop out is below this low here, whatever that is. I don't know. It's got to be 750-ish, somewhere in there. I'll figure out exactly the number. But that would be your stop out on your options. But I think this one could be a name that if it does get up over 10, you're going to see some massive short covering. And those options that are, I don't know, I think I paid 50, 80 cents, somewhere in there. They could go $5, $7. So I like that name, and I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. All right, so I'll touch real quick on indexes. It's a tough trade when we start breaking out into these all-time highs. The preference is that we come back and start testing. Let's go into the hourly. Start testing some of these low volume areas, like Dan said. When we start getting up into these extensions, then I kind of like to look at my Fibonacci's and my pivot levels to see areas where maybe we can get some rejection or top out at. And on the daily pivot levels, I have a 37 and a 52, and then just above that at 57.50 is a monthly R1 pivot. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on the upside. I don't have any Fibonacci levels in between there. The only thing I am watching, but it's going to be considerably higher, is on the SPY. There's a 161.8 extension at 560.80. So I'm going to put an alert there. That could be a level to watch for, a sort of a topping area. Back in here, if we kind of go into this area here, I have a daily pivot at 56.1075, which kind of acted as a launch pad. So that's a level that I have down below. This is one of my Fibonacci levels here at 56.16 too. So those are kind of the levels I'm watching. It's a more difficult trade because we are in these sort of uncharted territories here. So just be a little bit careful. I did take a short up here this morning and got stopped out, but I was in small size. It's going to be probably a relatively low volume day, being that we're coming back off of essentially a long weekend with July 4th.
Gov, do people usually come, and I mean, I know it was a midweek, but just asking you sort of from your experience on the floor, but do people tend to come back? It's just a travel day, yeah.
It's today and tomorrow are the travel days. They typically, you didn't want to come back on the Sunday because everybody's coming back on the Sunday. I mean, whether you're on a private jet or not, or where you're coming from, I mean, it was just jam packed. It was too difficult. Typically, you're starting to travel, clean things up, and come back Monday, Tuesday. For the biggest data number this week is what CPI, I think, on Thursday. So that's the prep. So and I expect low volume today and possibly tomorrow will start to pick up.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know when we would see some money come back in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so sometimes on those low volume days, we just kind of tend to grind. And it's going to be a little more challenging because of the areas that we're grinding into. So just be a little bit careful there. On the individual stocks, obviously Tesla has been front and center for the last couple weeks. We started trading this in the 170s and we're now up at the 250 area basically. So needs a little digestion. I'm surprised it hasn't pulled back yet. We're getting a little bit here pre-market, but you know, it's basically still grinding up around these highs. So I expect that just to digest a little bit more. Maybe we'll get a retrace in it, but I do still have plenty of room up on the weekly chart. I'm expecting this to get up into the, close to 300 area. So we'll keep an eye on that. AMD, again, we started trading this a couple weeks ago in the high 150s, and we're now up 174. And I kind of mentioned pre-market, this 38 Fibonacci was where we were taking profits on what was that, Friday. And I said, if we get over this 174 level and we find support, that's kind of the next launch pad to go long. So I still have position there. I have a few different strikes, and the next Fibonacci target up is at 184. So there's another $10 in this if this can get going, using this 174.12 essentially as your base to stay above. But if you look on the bigger picture, we're targeting. Let me go back to the daily. Yeah, 184 area is your 50 Fibonacci, and then 194.44 is your 61.8. So, and then it can keep on going beyond that, but those are the next two big levels that we're watching. And everything else is kind of shaping up nicely in this. You've got your MACD cross down here on the daily. So it's really shaping up to be a decent play. Meta got some upgrades this morning from Wedbush, and I forget who the other one was. But that's another one.
Wells Fargo.
Okay, Wells Fargo. Probably the same guy that was eating 84 Chipotle burritos.
I mean, what a gig, huh?
Oh my god! I mean, that's you're really like, you know, looking for something when you're going 84 times to Chipotle and, you know, getting on them about their portion control. But anyway, I must have missed that job at Career Day. Um, PLTR, Dan mentioned that's breaking out too. That's just been a great long term. We've had this down, what, 15, 13 area that we started adding that. So
And I was buying it in the sixes and sevens, and I have major regrets that I did not get 10,000 shares at that point. I
yeah,
got a lot, but not that money.
yeah. I mean, basically, this is shooting for $30. If it can get over, then it's just gonna just keep on going up.
Wait, what about Amazon? I'm kind of thinking maybe finally or consolidate here and move through 200, maybe 202, 50, 205 this week, possible.
My vote on Amazon would be if that can get over 200, retest and hold, and sort of maintain over it. I think 210, 220 is pretty shortly thereafter.
Yeah. So I've
Yeah,
got strikes for multiple weeks further out. So I mean, I have 197.50s and 200s and all of them. So
yeah. It's been a bit of a pain in the ass to trade, but definitely looks to be breaking out here and holding. This is kind of a, you know, ascending pattern here.
and that was not some unexpected selling by Bezos. Apparently, I mean, between he and his ex Melinda, that was part of their defined sale plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
interesting.
you do
You're
have
seeing
a bullish pattern there. So yeah, if you can break up
Yeah.
over this 201 area, you're golden.
you. Did you already talk about your Tesla?
I did.
Do you want to talk about Target a little bit?
Sure.
It's having a nice little gap up here.
Target. Oh, I went to Goodyear. What happened there? Oh. What the heck's going on here?
It looks like it's a gap up, but right at resistance here.
There we
Right.
go.
Yeah, it needs to get over 150. If it gets over 150, it can move.
Yeah, the only real overhead I have at 152 is this 50-day moving average. So that would be the sort of immediate, you know, a couple points higher, a few points higher. We've got that 50-day moving average, so I'd be wary of that. If you're long, I'd be taking profits there. But
I mean, my view on Target is I bought it in the long term, and I have 150 calls for August that I rolled from July. But I think that this is one of those things that if we say we get a market weakness, right? I think that the market is gonna. There's always going to be stocks that people buy, no matter how the market is weak. I don't envision the market getting weak, but say we do get a pullback or some sort of correction, and that is sort of going to happen at some point here. I think that these are the type of names that are low multiple names that people buy when other things seem too expensive.
yeah. You know, it's weird. I actually went to Target yesterday, and the one near my house, you know, sells all the groceries, and everything was like empty. Literally, like probably 30% stock in the freezers, and it was weird. I don't know if what was going on there, but it was kind of like when COVID, when we had all those, supply chain issues. It kind of looked like that again. It was weird. But yeah, I definitely
You know, my
agree.
wife was telling me she was at Target, and there's this in some of the nicer grocery stores around here. They carry this. They're kind of quasi pre-made salads called by Taylor Farms.
Right.
Taylor Farms, if you look underneath the label of almost an identical thing at Target, it's by Taylor Farms. They charge $3.50 for it at Target, and the other top stores are charging $7 for them.
Wow.
I
Yeah, it
thought that
doesn't.
was kind of, it's like good intel.
Target just
Yeah.
got a big buy. It's actually testing close to 150 now.
My daughter actually bought a little. She likes those American Girl dolls, and she bought some clothes for it yesterday. And she was opening it in the car, and she was reading the box. And she said to me, "Dad, why is everything made in China?" Good question.
Julian's asking about Intel.
I saw that. That's a nice looking chart.
Yeah, yeah, that looks set up. When do we ever say Intel's set up?
Yeah, it's not a bad
That's
play.
That stock trades like it's a turtle stuck in the mud, though.
Right.
That's the issue.
I mean, you've got a gap fill up
So you
to
got a gap fill.
34.50. It's at a good zone. But yeah, I mean, if I was playing this, I wouldn't be playing options. I'd be playing equity, and obviously you've got a decent, basically 29, 70 as your support, and then definitely could get up here into close to the $40 level here to test the 200 day. So 32, you're at 33, so you've got a few bucks of risk for $5 or $6 worth of move. So not terrible.
Did Target have news? Because it's over 150 now.
Yeah, I'm seeing this too.
Let's see. Can't see anything.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Weird.
Well, you're going to get paid on that right away.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm looking at today. Shop, I'm in this one too.
Yeah, what about shop? What are you doing here?
I've been long, equity since 58 and change. I've got some calls as well that I took last week in this area that are right around break even now, or they were Friday. But just looking for this gap fill up to $75. We've got the 200 day here at 68.90. Good area to take some profits. If we can get over that and base over it, then this gap fill is definitely looking good. So, but I'm well into the profits on the equity side. Basically $10 worth of profit there. So just riding this higher. Kind of the same thing that I did with CRM. Almost identical. We got to this 200 day, pause a little bit, we got over it, and we came within a few cents of the gap fill Friday. I still have a couple.
That was a great trade, the CRM.
Yeah, I've got a couple contracts left in that. So we'll see if this can keep going higher.
All right, we got a market opening in right now.
All right, let's see.
And advanced micros gapping up.
Target over 151.
Wow.
Up almost 4%. I have no idea what's going on with that, but I will take it, and I'm going to take some profits.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. NVIDIA up $1.60, AMD up almost 4. Crowd is moving. It's up 220. It's got to get. Crowd is right at its resistance area. I think the idea was if it can break through, it can get up to 400. Oh, it just, holy shit! It just popped. It's like 396. Oh, so much for that one.
There's that.
Everything totally popped there.
There's that launch pad I told you, for that 174. See, we came up here and tested it on AMD, and then using the Fibonacci launch.
I didn't even have a chance to load my options platform. Everything. Oh well, first day back. I'll take it a little bit slow. Can't rush into everything. All right, I'm gonna go grab a little coffee and try to adjust this opening, absorb this opening.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the chat. Have a good day.
Bye. See ya.